Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Coffee and Cleavage.
Hello. I think we're going to pick up where we left off last week.
Now, last week was really good. I've gotten a lot of good comments from you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate that. So, where we left off, cheating. We were talking about threesomes and how often complicated it is when you're in a serious or committed relationship and you have a threesome and maybe you don't have boundaries set, or maybe you do and they just get broken anyways, and your threesome ends up with one of the partners cheating on the other, keeping secrets, doing things behind the other one's back.
Yep.
And just how slippery of a slope that really can be.
Yeah, because you're thinking, okay, I'm hooking up with this person already with my partner here, and it's okay because some people think it's okay just because they've fucked a girl, then they can do it on the side.
Yeah, it's true. So, cheating. Have you ever been cheated on?
I've never been sexually cheated on. I would say the closest thing to cheating for me is probably been mentally, or emotionally.
Emotionally. Somebody else was having their emotional needs met by somebody else other than you.
Yeah, just talking to other people, online, and that hurts. It does. I don't really know if I consider it cheating fully, but in a way, I feel like a lot of people don't look at it that way unless you're cheating on someone sexually. A lot of think it's not cheating because you're just talking to someone, you don't have that sexual contact, but I think that's wrong. I think it's definitely
I think it's still
cheating.
deceitful.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you're keeping a secret, they weren't being honest. They're not like, hey, I'm talking to other people online.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a discussion like, let's have an open relationship, or let's be able to talk or pursue other people if it seems fitting. Like, if that was the case, then I would say it's not cheating.
Yeah.
But when you're like secretively going behind the other person's back and, having intent, so like talking to other people with the intent of maybe that's going to lead to something, or maybe trying to make something happen, then it definitely falls into that like gray area. Like,
it does.
Why are you together if you're trying to have your needs met by somebody else, even if it is emotionally?
Yeah, exactly. Especially some people that do that, I feel like they may not have the intent that they're ever going to sexually cheat, but I feel like it can definitely lead to that.
And you're kind of getting off on that, and I don't necessarily mean fucking getting off. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but you're getting something out of that, like, secretiveness. And so it's like, even if you're like, oh, but it wasn't sexual, but you were getting something out of it that you weren't getting from the person that you're with. So it gets a little bit mucky, and you're right, it can lead to actually cheating sexually.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know how it couldn't if someone kept doing it for a long time.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like there's just so many reasons that people cheat, and not justifying cheating whatsoever, but people just go into things for different things. Like, maybe their needs aren't being met by their partner. Maybe they don't know how to communicate with their partner about what their needs are.
Yeah. Or they just feel maybe very lonely.
Yeah.
Maybe
lonely, insecure.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they're looking for an out.
Yeah.
Some people definitely cheat just because they would like to end the relationship, but they don't know how. And it's kind of like a free ticket out. Oh, well, I cheated on you. Okay, it's over. It's like they couldn't just communicate that they, weren't happy anymore. They didn't want to be together. They had to like use cheating as like a,
I think
get out of jail free card.
That's the most selfish thing someone can do to someone, because that's heartbreaking. I mean, have you ever been cheated on?
Yeah, I have more than once, unfortunately.
Oh my God. So see, it's like, that I'm sure you've experienced that real heartbreak feeling then with that. Like, that's devastating. It fucks you up too.
It does.
Makes
it crushes
you can't trust.
Yeah, you don't trust, and you think like, is it something wrong with me? Like, did I do something wrong? Was I not doing something right? I mean, but I feel like the real honest truth of it is that cheating doesn't have to do with the person being cheated on. it has to do with the person doing the cheating.
Yes.
For those same reasons we just talked about. You know, maybe they're feeling insecure, they're angry, they're upset, they're looking for excitement. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Some people literally cheat because it's exciting to them.
Yes.
They like having that thrill of doing something that they're not supposed to be doing behind somebody else's back.
Yep.
And there are people that just do that no matter what, you know, unfortunately.
I know, it is unfortunate. It's sad because it's like, you know, you would think be single then.
Yeah,
but,
be single and save some freaking heartache.
Yeah. It makes you wonder why they wouldn't just be single. Is it because they still want to have that, you know, I feel like people don't like to be lonely, so they want to still have that person there.
But they be able to do what the fuck they want to do.
It's having your fucking cake and eating it too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it is really selfish, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to make sense of. And once you break that trust, like once I found that out that I was cheated on 2 separate times, 2 separate people,
It's awful. I'm sorry.
It just breaks your trust. You question everything. You no longer have that trust. Like that wall just crumbles down because now you just don't know what to believe, you know, like what's true and what isn't true.
Yeah.
And I feel like something that's interesting about people that get cheated on is that I feel like some people, and I'm not saying all, but I feel like some people are more inclined to stay with somebody that cheated on them if they've already been with them for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That is very true. I've heard of a lot of women that have been married for years and, you know, some even have kids and,
yep,
you know, that can
gets complicated.
Yeah.
And then they think like, oh, well, I already invested all this time and energy into this relationship and we do have children or we do have a house or we do have all these, you know, surrounding environment things that like maybe I can get over this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so they just deal with it. They don't say anything or they try to make it work.
Yeah.
And it's I feel like it's hard to know like what is right when somebody cheats on you.
Yeah.
Like how do you react? It's gonna be so different depending on the individual and the history.
Exactly.
Like did they cheat on you already?
Well, you know what I find interesting? It seems like a lot of industries such as, you know, law enforcement, a lot of cops you find cheat on their wives. Not all cops.
Sports players too. That's another big one.
Yeah. It's like, is it because they're gone all the time working long hours and then, you know, they don't really see their wife that much, and you think maybe even their wife cheats too because she's lonely and home all the time. I don't know.
Military wives too. I definitely know.
Oh yeah,
more than my fair share of those.
I've known a few of those too.
And I think that maybe what that comes down to, and that's probably a lot psychological, is like not wanting to share what's going on in their lives with their wives or their partners, and so just looking for that side maybe sexual encounter without the strings, without the thoughts, without the feelings, you know. And like you said, they want to have their cake and eat it too, so they do want to be able to have their home life and everything, but then still have all their other needs met separately. And that can just be really hurtful. And you know, it happens both ways. Like women cheat on men as well, and people, like we said, cheat for different reasons. But you know, I definitely have known a few friends that cheated as revenge.
Were they cheated on first?
Yes.
Okay.
So like their partner cheated on them and they were angry and they wanted to get even, so they went and cheated and then told their partner about it.
Damn.
Like, well, you did it, I could do it too, you know? I just feel like that's so, at that point, it's just so unnecessary, you know?
It makes you wonder. So like a few people, you know, have done that. Do they make it work with their significant other just to be able to get that revenge back on them? Or do they make it work because they were sad and they love that person? Yeah. And then after a while, they're just like, fuck it, I'm going to get you back, you know?
Yeah. Well, one of my friends, so she was really hurt, obviously, by it. Of course. She like tried to separate from him and she was angry. And so she went out and she did something back, you know? And then they, after a while, they decided to work on things. So they, you know, put in the work, went to therapy, blah, 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 got everything, you know, it's a long road back after that type of thing happens.
Absolutely. Because then he probably, in a way, almost felt better because he probably was living with that guilt that he cheated. So I'm not saying he felt better that she went and cheated on him.
Yeah,
but you
just
know what
releasing
I mean?
the guilt
Like,
of knowing.
yeah.
Yeah, and maybe not everybody feels guilty, but I think the guilt is like probably one of the number one reasons that people do tell the other person. But it seems like there's a time expiration limit on that. Like the longer you don't tell somebody what happened, the like less likely you are to ever say it out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it gets easier, like out of sight, out of mind.
They just try to forget about it.
Yeah, you just try to forget about it. Like it didn't happen. Maybe they convince themselves that it didn't actually happen.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of people that can convince themselves, and I don't know.
Justify,
I could never
convince.
do it. I'd be way too guilty.
Yeah, I mean, I've never cheated on someone. I feel like, and I don't believe like the kind of cliche like once a cheater always a cheater statement.
I don't believe that either.
I don't believe that.
No.
I feel like, you know, sometimes people do make mistakes. They fuck up, they fix it, you know, but then there are people that enjoy that, like we're talking about, like people that just cheat on everyone, you know? So I don't think it's like it's forever. I just feel like that statement is just like too blanket.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it is hard, like once you've been cheated on, to trust that person again. And what's interesting is I was reading something about cheaters, and it was saying that if you've cheated on someone, you're more likely to forgive somebody if they cheat on you. I thought that was interesting. So maybe that's like a little bit of compassion. Like I fucked up before, so
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, about your situation of your friend. You know. Yeah, exactly. You know, if he felt almost better in a way that she cheated, because it's kind of like, okay, well now we both have.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
I mean, it's
evening the playing field. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. It's
like, okay, now we're even. Now I don't have to feel so guilty for what happened.
Yeah, I just feel like it's so kind of like, I know everything is complicated, right? Everybody's lives are much more complicated than what meets the eye, and we can see from the outside like so clearly, like, oh, this is what they should do. Like that seems like a no-brainer. But then when you're in something and it's your own life, it always feels harder to identify what it is that you should do, you know, for yourself versus like your friend. You're like, oh, well, why don't you just fucking leave him?
Yeah, exactly.
He fucking cheated on you.
Yeah.
You know,
it's always easier said than done when you're the person giving the advice, and you know, you think, God, why does she just listen to me? But
yeah, why doesn't she just fucking leave? Come on, you deserve better than that. But then maybe you find yourself in a similar situation and you're no longer talking to your friend, you're talking to yourself. And that's just interesting to see how we kind of like make our own lives more complicated or make theirs less complicated. You know?
Yeah.
I just feel like if you're gonna cheat on somebody, break the fuck up.
Exactly.
You know?
Break up. I mean,
even if it's complicated, like even if it's complicated, nothing is too complicated to get out of, you know?
And if you feel like you're gonna cheat, break up before you do it to save that person, because what you're doing to that person, you're gonna fuck them up.
Yeah.
You know, you are, because then they have to deal with having that trust issue, and they carry it on to their next relationship. And
it's rough. And for the people that are like, you know, they want to have their side chick or their mistress, and they want to have their wife or their partner at home with their kids and that kind of shit, I feel like that's just selfish.
It's so selfish.
It's so selfish, because not only are you screwing up the partner relationship, but the family dynamic is going to be just as fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, don't think that your family members aren't going to find out.
Exactly.
You know,
and women are smart. I feel like we are intuitive as fuck. When we feel something's wrong, we figure it out. We're like investigators, you know?
That actually reminds me of a story that I heard the other day. I think I was in the car and I was listening to the radio, and a woman called in on the radio and was saying that her husband was having late night cocktail hours with his friends in his office. And she noticed that like they kept getting later and later. So instead of like 9 p.m., they were 10 and 11. And she didn't get it because her husband's friends are on the East Coast. So she's like, that has to be really late for them. That's not making sense. So one night she went in there to tell him something and the door was locked. And she was like, oh, that's fucking weird. So the next day she asked him about it, and he's like, he acted kind of strange about it. And he's like, I didn't want the kids walking in while I was having my guy time. And she was like,
that's weird.
That's a weird fucking answer.
Yeah.
And for context, they've been married for like 15 or 20 years or something. And so she got to thinking, and she decided to put on her fucking detective cap. Reminded me when you said like women are intuitive, like they figure shit out. They'll put on their fucking detective cap and figure out what the fuck is going on.
Absolutely.
You know? And so she decided to listen in on the Alexa that was in the room, which I think is pretty fucking smart.
That's pretty fucking
Some
clever.
people would be okay with that, would be not okay with that. And they're like, oh, she's doing something wrong by not trusting. But there's a reason she wasn't trusting him.
Yeah.
Because what he was saying wasn't adding up.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why I think it's okay.
I think that warrants further investigation. Because if somebody's not being forthright with you, you know, you don't just have to accept their bullshit fucking answer.
Yeah.
Like, you have to figure it out.
You have a reason for digging in and wanting to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So she listened in. What do you think she heard?
Did it say?
Yeah.
Oh, God. What did she hear?
Well, she heard her husband having, you know, phone sex or online sex with somebody else.
Oh, shit.
She heard like all the noises and the everything that was going on. And she was, you know, obviously distraught about it. Like, what the fuck is going on in there? And so she fucking called him on the radio and called him out about it. I was like, I can't believe this. This is such a juicy fucking
God, that is
thing to call the radio about. But hey, like, circumstances sometimes require like extremes, like how to navigate stuff when you've never been in that situation before.
I wonder how she didn't react and waited to like
call the radio.
I would
don't
have been
know.
banging on that fucking door. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I'm in bed.
I certainly wouldn't have listened to the call and then went to bed side by side, because I guarantee you that that's probably what happened.
Oh, I would just be so heated. I don't know how. And there's a lot of women that can be so silent about that.
Yeah.
You know?
That's usually conditioned, I feel. Like, just putting up with shit, or just like, you know, I feel like it at a point, it is a little bit of a character defect. Like, not stand up for yourself and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's reasons, like maybe you've been previously abused, you know, like there's reasons, but I couldn't even believe it. And he was like, oh, I was having a date. And she's like, you're having a fucking date? What do you mean, you're dating people? And he's like, no, I was online. I don't know her that much. You know, it's a relief. It doesn't mean anything.
Oh.
It's just sexual. You know, and here's the problem with that. It does matter.
It does.
It does matter.
Yeah.
It does hurt. And people are like, oh, what, you can go to a strip club or you can watch porn. But here's the difference. It's not, you can watch porn and it's not intimate, right? It's not intimate. You're not connecting with another person.
Exactly. With someone else.
You're not, and even if he doesn't know anything about her, he's literally probably on some cam website, one-on-one, you know, beating it while she's calling him daddy. I mean, sorry, but that's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just, moral of the story, be better.
Yeah. Yeah.
For all people, men and women, like, be better.
I know. I guess they love that exciting factor, and
then watch porn.
Like, exactly. I know. I don't understand it at all, but
watch it with your partner.
Yeah.
Ask them about it. Talk to them about it.
Communicate with them if you want to spice shit up in the bedroom.
Right.
You know
exactly.
I don't know. I feel like you know, because they say if you've been married for a long time, they say, like, 'cause a lot of the men that cheat on their wives that have been married for a long time,